what kind of language use can be expected of students?
So in the early phases of language acquisition, what learners need most is a lot of input. And we need the input to be mostly comprehensible. So the teachers will be speaking to them in a lot of Chinese. We don't expect them to understand all of it. We hope that they will understand increasingly more of it as they go along. And the teachers will make every effort to make it as comprehensible as possible by doing things like using props and using gestures and using facial expressions and even images to help the students gradually understand what they mean. And in those early phases, the students are listening and processing, acquiring a phonological system, acquiring vocabulary and grammar, and they may not actually produce a whole lot of language. And what they do produce will probably be what we call parroting. So if you ask them to repeat after you, they will repeat after you, but they may not use that independently. And in fact, some students will even go through what we call a silent phase, in which they really don't feel like producing a lot because they're putting all their energy into processing this input. And what's really fun to watch with students is that sometimes you'll find the students who parrot, or are real quiet and shy, suddenly one day just start saying things on their own, creating language. And that's really the most exciting thing that a language teacher can experience. So as a parent, if you're observing your child learning Chinese, don't be surprised if they don't want to speak Chinese with you outside of class, or if they don't even seem to be speaking a lot of Chinese in class. Don't worry. They're processing that. They're just soaking it all up. And at some point, they're going to be able to use that language to create sentences and say things that they want to communicate. A realistic goal for each lesson is for them to kind of understand what is the goal for that lesson. And you may find, if you're listening to the lesson, that teachers may say at the end of the lesson some kind of summary like, today we learned, or I can now say hello in Chinese, yes or no. And that gives the students an opportunity to develop a little bit of meta awareness about what they're learning.
Awesome. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.